Honoring the rhythms of the body is self-care. Rest and sleep are vital for our well-being. In this video, we start with understanding how sleep is important for our health and then go on to explore how honoring the rhythms of the body is much more than getting so many hours of sleep or rest. Hi, I'm Nirmala Shekhar, and over the last 1 year, I have been exploring the 5 dimensions of self-care in a map of self-care. This is the 50th video, the 50th week of this series, and this is week 8 of understanding our physical needs. Rest and sleep are vital for our well-being. In my first job as a software professional in Australia, my role was to make changes and enhancements to the in-house software based on user requirements. And throughout the day, users would make their way to my desk, hand me the requirements, and I had no time to work on those requirements because my entire day was spent collecting to-do list items. Finally, I figured a way out. I would come into work 2 hours later and stay back 2 hours after everybody had gone home. This way, I had more time to work on the requests. And in a way, we are treating our body in pretty much the same way. Throughout the working day, we are placing constant demands on the body. Here, watch this, listen to this. Move the body in a particular way. I want to build my muscles. Let's do this. I want to build my flexibility. Let's do this. Here, eat this, digest this, and it goes on and on and on. The body is overloaded with work that we are asking it to do, and it has very little time to do the major things that it needs to do without disturbance. And that's where rest and sleep come in. We all know that when we are looking after small children, somehow magically overnight they have added an inch or 2 to their heights. That is because all the major things that the body needs to do, it does when we are sleeping. What are the things that the body does while we are sleeping? Firstly, it strengthens our immune system. Today, when the immune system is under constant scrutiny, we are trying to do many different things to support and build our immune system. To that list of things, you can add good sleep. Reducing weight. We know that exercise, different forms of diet, and even fasting are all good for reducing weight. But our hormones are the ones that really make a big difference to our weight. And these hormones get balanced only when we get good sleep. Improving memory. We all know that when we were studying for our exams, we spent sleepless nights constantly studying for the exams. They may have helped the exams, but really they are doing nothing for our long-term memory. Our brain has different areas in which it stores short-term memories and long-term memories. And sleep is the time when the brain consolidates the memories and shifts them from short-term areas to long-term areas. So sleep is very vital for our long-term memories. Similarly, a good night's sleep is important to improve focus, help with our productivity, help with our creativity, and our overall health. If sleep is so important, then we need to look at our sleep hygiene and make sure that we are able to create an environment in our homes that are conducive to the sleep. When we do this, when we get out of the way of the body and leave it undisturbed for a good amount of time, then the body is able to do the things that it needs to support us and our health. Sleep and rest are important, but only in the context of activity. If I'm already getting a lot of sleep and rest, then honoring the body's rhythm means getting more activity into my life. When I look at a heart monitor, a good reading is not one that's flat, but one that goes up and then comes down and then makes its way up and then comes down. This cycling between the ups and downs is what makes that reading valuable. Similarly, when we look at sleep, I feel that sleep is the yin to the yang of activity and work. And knowing this, we can help ourselves to cycle between these two polarities to keep ourselves balanced. And I want to take the example of a rubber band. A rubber band, by its very nature, is elastic, and its value is in extending itself. But if I extend it and hold it for long periods of time, it's going to lose its elasticity. I need to extend it and then let it come back to a normal period, and then extend it and then come back to a normal shape. If, on the other hand, I extend it beyond what it is capable of, it's going to give way again. So in life, when we are looking at the different rhythms of our body, we need to remember this rubber band example. And some examples that I can relate to are periods of eating followed by periods of break from eating. And if I'm having a really heavy meal, I'm really extending myself, then giving a longer break may make sense to my body. Similarly, if I'm a student, periods of intense preparation for exams, projects, assignments, followed by periods of break. If I am in an office, periods of very stressful project work, followed by periods of break. All of these make sense to me. If I am a sports person or an athlete and I'm doing intense training, preparation for some event somewhere, and I'm really extending myself beyond what I am able to do, then again I need rest breaks in between so that my body can integrate all the gains that it has made during the training. And this makes sense for all of us as we cycle through the different polarities. One of those polarities is periods of stress followed by periods of peace and quiet. Most of us get this. But what is unsaid in this polarity, periods of stress followed by periods of peace and quiet, is that periods of peace and quiet are often followed by periods of stress. And if they are not, then it feels quite dull. And this is something that we also need to understand, because stress has become so synonymous with problems that we always look at what can we do to avoid stress. Yes, stress is a problem, a huge problem, especially if it is prolonged. Moderate stress, however, can be very invigorating. Just like periods when we are doing intense physical training, that is helping our heart rate to go really high. And that is actually a good thing. It builds the heart muscle. Similarly, periods of moderate stress can be very helpful. So when we are filling our life with huge periods of peace and quiet, then watch out for the next step in that cycle, which is periods of activity, periods of work as well. So that's all I have in this video, focusing on honoring the body's rhythms as self-care. Do share with me your takeaways. This is Nirmala signing off. Bye-bye. Namaste. Do subscribe and hit the bell button for more weekly content on self-care. And if you want even more actionable content on self-care, do join me in the Facebook group for weekly lives, discussions, and more tips.